as a black man?
Yes, yes.
Where?
And we're not talking about what him define himself. No, we're talking about being African. And if a white man is African,
Rastas don't just emphasize the African part.
Yeah,
they emphasize the blackness.
But I am telling you
Don't
now
be
that blackness is a political thing that he's using now against Rasta. The blackness is a thing that he's using against Rasta, and Rasta is talking about Africa. When Marcus Garvey talk about black, what him talking about?
Muta.
When Marcus Garvey talking about black, what him talking about? A white man born in Africa?
No.
He's talking about Africans.
Right.
So we are justificating the word African with black. That's what we're doing now. And we are saying that you are an African, you're a black man.
Muta.
Yes.
I am older than you, I think. I grew up with the oldest Rastas in Montego Bay. And in the old days, ask any old Rasta, when Rastas talk about black man religion, they talk about black.
Did you live Rastafari? Did you live it?
I didn't live the lifestyle.
All right, so I am the person who live it now. So when you live
you're a younger man, you're a younger man with the Rasta.
So what that means?
You know the ancient man.
You know what the ancient man. Wise and prudent reveal to the babe and suckling. So if I am a babe to you, I am revealing something to you now. I am saying to you, an African, Haile Selassie is an African, and Haile Selassie is a black man. Now, whether you hear Haile Selassie say it or not, I am telling you that I have read Haile Selassie talking about the black people of Africa, including himself.
Said love my viewers and subscribers who are going open are doing good, open are doing great. Now my people, I come across this video once more, my people, and I decided to have to share it with the ones and ones. Yeah man, this one is Mutabaruka versus Clinton Chisholm. Yeah man, Christianity versus Rastafari. A serious clash, my people. I know a lot of you guys have seen this already, but still there's a whole lot more people out there that have never seen it before, and this one is a matchup that ones and ones need to tune into more while, because this thing will elevate your mind and consciousness about these religion. This is going to get really heated and also educational, so definitely stay tuned. And before we go, you know it's a Black Power movement. Drop a like and subscribe, share to a friend or a family so they can be a part of the movement. Now let's take a walk.
This is the matchup that you have all been calling for. Clinton Chisholm, Mutabaruka. Welcome to Religious Hard Talk. I am Ian Boyne. Almost everywhere I go, people want Clinton Chisholm. With the battering of Christianity, which has taken place on this program, people have been yelling out, the Christian community has been saying, where is Clinton Chisholm? Well, he has been in Florida for several years now. But he came back recently to launch this bombshell of a book, Revelations on Rastafari. Perhaps the first full-length Christian critique of Rastafari. The first work which attempts to prove the errors of Rastafari. Well, Mutabaruka is here to reply to him. There are some central claims of this book, Revelations of Rastafari. One, I quote, Rastafari's view of Emperor Haile Selassie as a black man's God is marred by ignorance and misconceptions. You know that Clinton does not mince word under any guise of courtesy. Because the emperor was not black, Clinton Chisholm says. He was not a Negro, and he had no name or title that was unique to him. King of Kings, Lord of Lords, that was not unique to him. The traditional idea that Emperor Haile Selassie is a direct descendant of Solomon lacks historical corroboration and is refuted by the fact of the non-Solomonic Negroid Zagwe dynasty ruling in Ethiopia for over a century, and as well by the century-long collapse of the Ethiopian monarchy in the middle of the 18th century of this era. Moreover, all the emperors of the last 200 years of the monarchy were unrelated by blood, except for one, despite the fact that all claimed to be Solomonic. The notion that modern Ethiopia is spoken of in the Bible is misguided, because every such reference speaks of Kush, which is Sudan, not the modern landmass known as Ethiopia. The Kebra Negas account of the connection between Solomon, the Queen of Sheba, and the Ethiopian rulers is based on fiction. So too is the story of the ark being taken to Ethiopia. Emperor Haile Selassie was self-consciously a professing Christian, indeed a defender of the Christian faith in Ethiopia, and he encouraged others to accept Jesus Christ of Nazareth as Lord and Savior. Therefore, Clinton says that Rastafari is based on theological ignorance, is misguided, and Christians are provided with the ammunition to destroy Rastafari in this book. He is encouraging people to get this book. This is what Christians need to shut up Mutabaruka finally, and to silence him and all of those who hold to Rastafari. But this night belongs to these two men. They have met before in combat. Tonight there is a rematch. This is the clash of clash. Cartel and Movado, they can't come to this kind of clash. Ninja Man, merciless. The Clinton, Chisholm, Mutabaruka clash is the clash. Gentlemen,
well, you know,
boom bang respect.
You know,
How you mean? You know, a religious attack around the road there right now.
To bring a certain thing in
Civility.
Jamaica instead
Well, it's still
of ammunition.
Yeah, all right, true. Yeah, father, yes. Broadcasting Commission, right?
Yeah, you talk about the book is ammunition. No, I mean, you know, what kind of metaphor is
But
that?
Clinton, some of your main arguments, I've mentioned some, but lay out your point, you know, some of the key points here in the book. I turn
The
over to
most
you.
shocking one I found where the book has been mentioned and promoted is the fact that Ethiopia, the landmass that we now call Ethiopia, is not really mentioned in the Bible. That's a shocker for people because the first thing that comes to mind,
stretch forth his hand
that's
to
right,
our
and the
God.
Ethiopian eunuch.
Ethiopian eunuch.
The unfortunate reality is that Ethiopia was a vague term in ancient times, even coming to the 1st century with the New Testament document. So it had reference to all of the countries, all of Africa.
What's called Ethiopia?
Yeah, what's called Ethiopia at times in literature. And the countries south of Egypt. But when you find the word Ethiopia in the Old Testament in particular, then the Hebrew word is Cush. Cush is modern Sudan. And the Ethiopian eunuch in the New Testament is also from the same area, modern Sudan, where the term Candace was used for the Merorite queens.
So how you explain the Ethiopian Orthodox Church being in
But the Ethiopian
so
Orthodox Church is a modern Ethiopian landmass creation,
yes.
It's on the modern landmass that it came up.
So the view that it was the Ethiopian eunuch who went back and whose work eventually led to the Ethiopian Orthodox Church, that's not
No, that's not credible.
It wasn't he who introduced Christianity to what we know as Ethiopia.
No.
That's not true.
Two brothers, and the history of the church reports that the two brothers came to the Ethiopian area, and the monarch then accepted their testimony concerning Jesus Christ, consecrated his life to Jesus Christ, and commissioned. So Christianity was spread in Ethiopia, not from the people up to the monarch. It was from the monarch down to the people.
Yes.
The monarch accepted Christ as his savior, and then commissioned these two brothers to go and spread the word across Ethiopia.
And this view that Christianity is really a white man's religion and European religion, you dismiss that also.
No, I blame the people who have studied at universities and still parrot that kind of a foolishness, because Christianity is a Middle Eastern religion. It's not a white man's religion. Christianity was in countries in Asia and the Middle East long before it came to Europe. Long before. So, I mean, it would be difficult to justify the view that Christianity, which predated its arrival in Europe, is a white man's religion.
So when we as black people accept Christianity, we're not turning our back on Africa and going to Europe.
No. Christianity was in Africa long before it entered Europe.
Long before it entered Europe. What are some of the other key points that you make?
The issue of the connection between King Solomon of Israel, and the Queen of Sheba, and the so-called first emperor of Ethiopia also lacks historical verification. I mean, Solomon could have had sex with the Queen of Sheba. I grant that the man loved women and preferably supine, but there's no historical support that he slept with the Queen of Sheba or that they had a child together and that child became the first monarch in Ethiopia. No historical support for that at all.
So this book, the Kebra Negas, that, you know, some Rastafarians heal.
And Ethiopians too.
Ethiopians, yeah.
It's a tremendous book, you know. It's not completely mythical.
Okay.
It's just that it goes overboard. You can't rely on the Kebra Nagas for historical material.
You can't.
You have to really read it with your glasses on and your glasses wiped clean. Because there are times when the Kebra Nagas messes up historically. It, for instance, confuses Candace, 1st century monarch, with the Queen of Sheba, who's a 10th century monarch. The Kebra Nagas calls the two women one and the same. Even though you have some 9 centuries separating them. So there are those historical blunders in there. So you can't just swallow it hook, line, and sinker.
In your view, therefore, Clinton, Rastafari is our indigenous religious movement. We've exported it over the world. But it is based on sand.
A lot of sand.
Erroneous.
Use that metaphor, a lot of sand, yes.
Historically and theologically.
Misconceptions originated at the very beginning, from the foundations.
From the foundation.
The name of the movement, there were misconceptions.
Oh,
now, I call the first one with the name Rastafari movement. Muta mentions it in a lecture he gave in, where was it? Is somewhere in
California.
But I get some lecture there, but you have to tell me.
This book by, I forgot the fellow's name, Rastafari the 21st.
For book of Rastafari 21st century. But what Muta is it?
Yeah, what Muta mentioned is that why is the movement called Rastafari?
Oh, okay.
When Selassie ceased being a Rast from 1928. And it's a point I've raised in my cassette from 1992. That it's a slight contradiction. I don't call it a major contradiction.
Yes.
That it's a slight contradiction. I don't call it a major contradiction.
Yes.
You see, the Rastas love the word Ras because for them, Ras, for many of them, I should say, let me qualify and speak guardedly.
Yeah.
For many Rastas, Ras means head creator, but Ras just means head of an army.
All right, we're going to get a chance.
Yeah, man. Yes. Yeah, we will come to you in the
So
thing. Yes.
Ras Makonnen, his father, was an army. He was head of an army. That's why he was called Ras. So Ras doesn't mean head creator. And his name, Haile Selassie, power of the Trinity, was not a name that he assumed out of thin air when he ascended the throne. That was his baptismal name.
I see. Do you believe that those who remain Rastafari, who die in the Rastafarian faith, believing that Selassie is God, that they can be saved?
Well, if they die, they don't have any chance of being saved if they believe that Selassie is God.
If they believe that Selassie is God, they won't be saved.
They can't be saved by that because
they can't be saved.
Salvation is only in Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Or those who are fussy linguistically, Yeshua of Nazareth.
So if Muta doesn't accept Christ before he dies,
that's his Lord and Savior,
he's going to be caught in hell.
He and I are going to part company. I'll be in heaven, he'll be in hell.
He'll be in hell.
I would wish us to be together in heaven.
I don't know if I should have
when do you come back?
I don't know if I should have excused myself from the tour to go out.
No, we'll come to you. We'll come to you. You'll have enough time to redeem yourself, and hopefully what Clinton has to say might help you to be redeemed and be in paradise with the Lord. This is the matchup that you have been asking for. Clinton Chisholm, Mutabaruka, only on Religious Hard Talk. We take our first break. Revelations of Rastafari is Clinton Chisholm's bombshell book, which is said to destroy the foundations of Rastafari and to expose it as a system riddled with historical, theological, and philosophical errors. But Mutabaruka, the celebrity Rastafarian poet and philosopher, is here to contest the ideas of Clinton Chisholm. Muta is quoted quite extensively in this book. And we turn over now to Muta.
Yeah, we just want to say to Mr. Chisholm that history is very strange, that none of us who is expounding history was there at the time when history is made. So we have to rely on writers. Now I am contending that depending on who is writing and who want to interpret what is written, they will validate their logics and understanding after that individual or that person or the people who's writing this history. So what I'm hearing is that Clinton has read what the Rastafari used to validate Rastafari, and has also read the things them to disclaim Rastafari. And as a Christian, he chooses to accept the things them that disclaim Rastafari. Now the Rastafari choose to use the things them that Rastafari is holding fast to. Now a lot of things that Chisholm just said is not true. Ethiopians for thousands of years have claimed these things. And you have people now who is in the disclaiming, which is Chisholm is part of it. Now, I wasn't there in history. I am going off of what is written. I choose, and Rastafari choose, to really deal with the Ethiopian version of history. And the Ethiopians is writing about their history. Now, I don't know who Clinton is reading to disclaim Ethiopian history, but obviously it is not Ethiopians that are disclaiming Ethiopian history. So if someone is saying that I choose to follow what the Ethiopians say in history, and Clinton is saying, no, I choose to oppose Rastafari based upon what people write about Ethiopian history, then wrong and right, we don't know how the wrong and right thing coming of it. But the first thing I want to really work with now is the idea where you read about Haile Selassie is not a black man or a Negro.
Yeah.
You know, the idea of black and Negro, well, Negro is still black, but the idea of black is really a political thing, jargon. Rastafari is not claiming black man and Negro, even though he's recognizing Africa as a black continent. What Rastafari is saying is that black people never have an African God and an African king to claim. And when Owil claimed Haile Selassie as black people king, he was responding to an event, not a situation, not an idea. He was saying that this man, Haile Selassie, that Marcus Garvey said that black people must worship God through Ethiopia, through their own spectacle, which we want to come to what him saying that is not Ethiopia physically the place we're talking about. But when Marcus Garvey tell us that where is the black man God, where is the black man king, where is the black man kingdom, in page 42 of the Philosophy and Opinions of Marcus Garvey, there is a topic there that Marcus Garvey talk about the image of God. And it clear states that if the Jews want to worship God through the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, let him do it. If the Chinese want to do this thing, let them do it. But we, though late it might be, must worship God through Ethiopia, and that is what we choose to do. Now, when Leonard Owil in 1930 saw that this African, we're not talking about a political mindset now, we're talking about black and Negro. This African was crowned in 1930. Leonard Owil says, this is the redeemer for black people. This is the person who's going to redeem black people out of the thing. And we must now see that black people have a king that is African, and it's not the king of England, which is a European. So the idea that Haile Selassie is not a black man now is really a problematic situation. Because what I think Clinton is alluding to is that Haile Selassie is of a mixed breed.
Semitic.
Yes. No. We have to really work with that. We have to work out that understanding of the black man. I really want to ask Clinton, if the people of America decide, say, they're going to declare Obama God or Christ, would you say that Obama is not a black man because he have a white mother? Because it is the person who is defining their existence and not the person who is looking on. And if Haile Selassie declare himself as a black man,
he has not.
Yeah, but I can tell you that I have read speeches where Haile is talking about we as Africans.
Yes, Africans. Yeah.
Yeah, but Africans are not Semitic.
But Selassie claims to be Semitic.
No, yeah, but that is the greatness about the situation now. He's claiming Semitic lineage, and he's claiming the African lineage because his mother, according to the thing that you just put down a while ago, according to the history of the Ethiopians, this queen mixed with this Semitic person. So he's claiming now the Semitic lineage and the African lineage, meaning that when he says that he's an African and we Africans will fight if it is necessary, he's not talking about the Semitic, he's talking about the black people in Africa. So we must not declare now, say, because Haile Selassie's great-great-grandparents, which is used fighting against, because I don't know, or you're going to fight against the history of the thing and then still say that Haile Selassie is Semitic. Because I'm not saying that Haile Selassie don't have Semitic in him. I am saying that Haile Selassie is claiming Semitic, and Haile Selassie is also claiming his black heritage based upon his mother and based upon his father. I mean his grandfather. He's claiming this two things, just like how we stand up and hear Obama say his mother was white and his father was black, and he's claiming being an African American. He is black. Obama is a black man. Whether he has white in him or not, he is defining himself. Not you, not me. Haile Selassie is a black man based off of that his parents.
Did he so define himself?
He defines himself as a black man.
Where? What?
Never.
Where? You have otherwise?
Yes,
I want to settle
claimed to be, it's in the Constitution. It's
in the Constitution. He says
from the Semitic line, yeah.
Settle it.
Claimed to be, it's in the Constitution.
It's in the Constitution. He says
from the Semitic line, yeah.
He has never claimed to be a black man.
Never claimed black. He's an African that's uncontested.
But Muta was an African.
But tell me something now. African. It is more important in the realms of what Rastafari is saying to an African are talking about Semitic. Which one is more important to the Rasta man?
African, I would think.
Yes, all right. Then is Haile Selassie an African?
He was an African.
Then what you talking about?
No, but your white people were
just said that.
Which white people is African?
No, you said.
No, we are the which white people is African?
A white person cannot.
No, tell me which white person is African? Which white person is African?
A person born on the landmass of Africa.
It's not African.
He's African.
No. Which white person born on the landmass of Africa?
It's a white person, a white man who is born.
Where? Tell me where. Where is born? You have to tell me the place where I'm born in Africa for him to be.
No matter where born.
No. If I call born in a pig pen, it's not a pig.
More tell us the Chinese. More tell us the Chinese. No matter where the Chinese born, it's the Chinese.
Which white man born in Africa is an African?
All right,
tell me.
Any white man born in Africa.
No, but that is not true.
Anyway, leave it.
Maybe he's an South African, but he's not an African.
All right.
If a white man born in Ghana, maybe he can be a Ghanaian. So by nationality, but he's not an African.
Back to Selassie.
Wait, man, don't stop me, man. No, African. African. No, but we try to answer the question because he write a whole book about it.
But we want to see where he define himself as a black man. Has he ever defined himself as a black man?
Yes.
Where?
And we're not talking about what him define himself. No, we're talking about being African. And if a white man is African,
Rastas don't just emphasize the African part. They emphasize the blackness.
But I am telling you now that blackness is a political thing that he's using now against Rasta. Blackness is a thing that he's using against Rasta, and Rasta is talking about Africa. When Marcus Garvey talk about black, what him talking about?
Muta.
When Marcus Garvey talking about black, what him talking about? A white man born in Africa?
No.
He's talking about Africans. Right. So we are justificating the word African with black. That is what we're doing now, and we are saying that you are an African, he's a black man.
Muta.
Yes.
I am older than you, I think. I grew up with the oldest Rastas in Montego Bay. And in the old days, ask any old Rasta, when Rastas talk about black man religion, they matter about black.
Did you live Rastafari? Did you live it?
I didn't live the lifestyle.
All right, so I am the person who live it now. So when you live
you're younger man, you're younger man with the Rasta.
So what that means?
You know the ancient man.
You know the ancient man. Wise and prudent reveal to the babe and suckling. So if I am a babe to you, I am revealing something to you now. I am saying to you, an African, Haile Selassie is an African, and Haile Selassie is a black man. Now, whether you hear Haile Selassie say it or not, I am telling you that I have read Haile Selassie talking about the black people of Africa, including himself.
All right, no, Muta, I'm saying to you, just make one simple point. That the ancient dreads in Montego Bay, certain where I grew up, when they're talking about black, they're talking about Negro.
But I am telling you that when we say black, we are talking about Africans.
Today?
No, yesterday.
In the 1950s?
When the 50s.
The 1950s in Montego Bay?
When the Montego Bay Rasta them say black people, them talking about Africans.
In 1950s?
Yes.
No, Muta, you're wrong.
Who them talking about them say black people?
Negroes.
Who's Negroes? You ever hear Rasta talk about Negro?
Yeah, me hear Rasta talk about Negro.
Yeah, no man. Rasta not talk about Negro. Rasta say black man.
The black man, but that they mean Negro.
No,
they're not talking about Africa.
No. Wait there.
So you accept the Semitic?
No, wait there. He mean saying when black people say Negro, it mean black. When Rasta say black people, it mean African. It don't mean Negro. So because to Rasta, Negro is a derogative term.
Yeah, true. Clinton, you have historical reference where Selassie projected himself more as a Semitic. He defined himself in those terms.
In other words, after the Zagwe dynasty was overthrown by Yekuna Amlak, the Zagwe dynasty was a group of Negroes. On the African...
You keep saying Negroes. Negroes is a derogative. That nigger.
Black man.
I'm not using it.
But it is whether you use it or not, it's a if I say nigger in any way, in
go off on a side point.
All right. No, Negro is a derogative term.
Don't use Negro. Black man.
We will always use black man. Black man is an African. No part. Don't try to...
No, hold on, Muta.
Rasta is saying black man is African.
I'm making a point.
Peter said, no matter where you come from, as long as you're a black man, you're an African. Right. So what Rasta is saying, that if you're a black man, you're an African, there's no term in Rasta that declare Negro. I never in my life hear Rasta talk about Negro. You are use the word Negro.
The Zagwe dynasty, which ruled on the throne of Ethiopia before Yekuna Amlak in the 17th century, the 14th century rather, was a group of non-Semites.
Okay.
They were Negroes, they were blacks.
Black.
They were blacks, all right?
Were they Africans?
They were Africans,
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
They grew up in that area.
Okay.
No, they were
Wow.
overthrown by Yekuna Amlak. And the Semitic line and the Solomonic
Took over
dynasty,
that.
so-called, came about through Yekuna Amlak. No, Tades Tamrat, an Ethiopian himself, an Ethiopian historian.
Yes.
He rejects the idea that there was a genuine Solomonic dynasty in Ethiopia. He says it was because Ethiopia was beleaguered by the Muslims around them, cut off from the Christian nations to which it really belonged, because
So who's the Falashas?
Wait.
because Ethiopia was a Christian empire. Then they identified with the beleaguered Israelites in the Old Testament, and so talk about a Solomonic dynasty.
Who is the
I
Beta
see.
Israelites?
So that's
Who
how-
are the Beta Israelites that
That's
the
how-
So there was a
Israelites...
myth that came out. The myth came out,
And it says-
or there was political realities.
So on the throne of Ethiopia, in the Kebanagas, only a Semite must rule. No non-Semite and no woman.
That is not true. Zardito
Zardito was a contradiction in terms.
So you have an exception then?
She's an exception, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So-
all right.
No,
So that is clear then.
Yeah.
There was a woman who was ruling Ethiopia.
Just before
and
Selassie, yeah.
the dynasty of the Kadans,
Candace.
it wasn't an individual queen. It was a dynasty of queens.
Yeah, all of the
that
queens in the Emirate.
It was
ruled
ruled,
out of
yes.
Sudan.
So that means a
Candace.
woman was ruling Ethiopia too.
In Sudan, not
No,
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia.
No, not
Yes, what do you mean
Ethiopia.
not Ethiopia?
The first woman on the throne was Zaudito.
No, the first woman on the throne was Makeda.
Well, if you see Makeda as being on the throne of Ethiopia,
Then she was the queen of Ethiopia?
No,
Where she was?
She was in Arabia,
Where?
South Arabia.
Here.
That's where Sheba
Yemen,
is.
listen to me. Yemen was part of the kingdom of Ethiopia in that time.
What
Yemen.
period of time?
Yemen.
What period of
What
time?
period of which time? When
BC or AD?
Makeda. No, look here.
Makeda
Look
is
here.
10th
Look-
century BC.
No, listen to me. Makeda was the queen of Sheba. If you declare that Sheba is
was
in
South Arabia?
it's in Yemen. It's in Yemen. You don't agree with me?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's South Arabia.
Yeah, and I am saying to you now that the kingdom of Ethiopia, are you familiar with Nubia?
Yeah.
Where was Nubia?
Nubia was bordering Kush.
Where is Kush?
Kush is modern Sudan.
And where is Ethiopia?
Ethiopia is different from
So
Sudan.
what was that land now that was called, that is now called Ethiopia? What was it called before? You said that it is not Ethiopia. The land now that they call Ethiopia.
Yeah.
What was
Abyssinia.
it called? When?
It was called Abyssinia
When?
before it became Ethiopia.
When? No.
In BC times.
No, listen to me. I'm talking about the time when you say Kush, it's Sudan. In the Old Testament, the Bible tells you that one of the rivers that flow out of the land of and the river is Gishon, which encompasses the whole land of
Take a
Kush.
break. It's Black History
God,
Month.
you need it.
We are Black History Month and Religious Hard Talk. We are discussing issues having to do with Black history. But Clinton Chisholm is saying that Selassie can't lay claims to that Black history. This is Religious Hard Talk. We take another break. As you expect, a heated clash between Chisholm and Mutabaruka on issues having to do with Rastafari and also Black history.
Yes,
Muta.
I'm asking Mr. Chisholm. In the Bible, it tells you about a land that the river that encompasses the whole land of Kush, which now we're going to gesticate it and say it's Ethiopia. Now, if you claim that the only land that can give claim historically to the Ethiopian name is the Sudan, the place that is now called Ethiopia, what was it called in that time?
At that time.
I don't remember. I wouldn't guess.
All right. Well, it wasn't called Abyssinia. Because Abyssinia is a late name for Ethiopia. It wasn't 5,000 years ago.
No,
it
he
was
didn't
not
claim
called.
that. Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
So I am saying to you now, the land, we need to, you, not me, you need to find out what is the name of the land in the time of when the Bible was written.
Yeah.
What was the name of the land
Fair
that is
question.
no-
Yeah.
What was the name of the land
Fair
that is
question.
now called Ethiopia?
But one thing
Fair
we know of
question.
Muta
Fair
is
question.
that the land described as Ethiopia
Is not.
is in Hebrew is Kush, which was Sudan.
But I am telling you, no. I am telling you that all of that area was under one, what you call governance.
Oh, you're saying.
Nubia, Sudan, right to Ethiopia was the only place that was different in the naming was Egypt, which is Kemet.
But that was way up north.
But I
Africa,
am saying, but that is the only place that was not called Ethiopia. That was the only place that
yeah,
was
so
not
the
called
vague term
Ethiopia.
Ethiopia was used for all of Africa.
No,
at one time.
no, but I am talking about now in the historical reference that you give. And I thought Ethiopia was given the name by the Greeks. Ethiopia, land of the burned faces.
Right, Ethiops.
Below the Sudan, below the
Nile.
Sahara. south of the Sahara was called Ethiopia. So we are saying that all of that south of Sahara was Ethiopia. Now we come to understand about a specific place named Cush, which the writers in the Bible sometimes say Cush, sometimes say Ethiopia.
No, you always say Cush, is just that the English people translate Cush as Ethiopia.
Cush is not, Ethiopia is not an English name.
No, I'm saying muta.
No,
in English, the translation is Ethiopia.
No, the translation of Ethiopia is not Cush.
No, I'm saying Cush is used in the Hebrew text.
No, but I am saying to you, Ethiopia is Cush.
Well, I'm disagreeing with you on that.
Well, if Ethiopia is not Cush, that means you don't have no point then. Because you just tell me say Ethiopia, Ethiopia wasn't the place there, it was Sudan name.
What I'm saying is Cush, referred to in the Old Testament, was having reference to the landmass that we now call modern Sudan.
Yeah, and I am saying to you, you don't know the name that was given to the land here. And I am telling you that that area, Nubia,
to the whole
Sudan,
area.
that area was Ethiopia or Cush.
No, Ethiopia was used vaguely for the general landmass south of Egypt.
Yeah, what I am saying to
but
you...
Cush is a specific geographical area.
And I am saying to you that this specific geographical area that is called Cush encompass the Sudan, Nubia, and the place that they now call Ethiopia. That is what I am saying to you.
There's a difference
historically.
between Nubia and Cush.
All right. Let's move on. Muta, you are maintaining the Selassie as part of the Solomonic dynasty.
No, wait.
What are you?
Stick up in. We want to get something clear, because we don't want to just a flirt because we have promote a book.
No,
hear what we are saying now.
Flirting.
First of all,
we're not agreeing on that point.
No, but I want to get something clear.
All right.
Rastas have never used the word Negro in their vocabulary.
Yeah, man, we're not that's a side point.
No, it's not a side point, because him say it in his book.
Yeah, all right, forget all right.
Therefore, if Rastas always claim a black king.
Yes, all right.
Mr. Chisholm is saying that Haile Selassie is not black.
Yes.
And I am saying to you, Haile Selassie have a Semitic lineage in him that he also claim. It don't mean he's not black, you know.
That's what it means.
And I'm using the example of Obama.
Yeah, a poignant example.
He is claiming Africanness. He's an African American. So he don't have to born in the country to be the country. Because there's people who born in the country that is the continent that is not it. As I use the word, a cow born in a pig pen is still a pig cow. All right. The Solomonic dynasty is very interesting because the Ethiopians, the physical Ethiopian that we now call Ethiopia, base their history off of this legend.
Yes. The Kebenegas legend.
Yes. Now the Ethiopians write their history. Some people follow that history. Some people follow a different history. This is what
Chisholm is a subjective approach. Like
but the reason why Chisholm is following it is to oppose Rastafari claim. Rastafari is claiming it based upon the Ethiopian history.
Yeah, but they are false historical claims.
Yeah, all right. So
there must be a means of deciding a historical truth.
All right. So what we're going to use now as the mark for this claim, the Ethiopian claim.
Very good.
Tell me now.
Very good question.
Tell me.
Are you disclaiming the
truth is correspondence with the facts as best we know them. And I'm saying the claim
determined
that,
by whom?
Eh?
Muta would say truth as determined by whom? Whose criteria you're going to use?
I started out by saying history is decided by the writer.
Those who succeed,
yes,
the winners.
Well, even that is debatable.
Yeah, but go on.
There are people who lose and write history.
Yeah, but what's the basis for discounting the Kebenega?
If the thing is true, it must correspond to all of the facts that we can pick up from all sources around.
Give me some.
So if all the things is not corresponding, the whole thing is wrong.
Give me the Bible then.
Well, I could say the Bible is wrong then. All the things in the Bible is wrong because there's something in the Bible that does not correspond. Therefore, everything in the Bible is wrong.
No, I'm not saying that. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I'm saying some of it could be wrong and it still could be true.
Okay.
But if the claim is that this guy, Menelik I, that's his name, Ibn Hakim, in some documents from Ethiopia, the son of the wise man because his father was Solomon, if he really took the Jewish Ark of the Covenant and abducted it and recited it in Ethiopia,
I agree with that.
then a number of issues have to tie up.
Okay.
Number one, based on the Bible's claim about the Ark and the mysterious happenings about who can handle the Ark and still live, the Korathites and only the Korathites of the Levites could handle the Ark. Not all Levites, you know.
Yes, that's
right. So ask the question, who are the Beta Israelites?
In terms of history or modern reckoning.
Who are the Beta Israelites? How did the Beta Israelites come to form a group in Ethiopia that the Israelis took 10,000 of them and shipped them into Israel to validate Jerusalem as the true experience of God of Israel?
Well, I could answer that several ways, but the issue is
No, but that is an issue to me now, so you answer it.
It's a side point still, Muta.
No, not a side point. No, you're just saying that Solomonic dynasty don't have nothing to do with nothing. So there must be a reason why the Ethiopians claim that they are validating it. So they use the Beta Israelites to validate their claim about the Solomonic dynasty. So I'm asking you.
That would be one strand that they could use. No.
So is it a wrong strand?
It is not a defensible strand.
No, is it a wrong strand? Whether is it a wrong strand?
You have to claim that you know more than the Israelis themselves.
No. Not the Israelis. It will be the
no, but it's the Israelis. Them do it. It's them take 10,000 of them carry about Israel.
Israel is accepting Jews from all over the world.
No. These Beta Israelites. These Beta Israelites called derogatively Falashas. Just like how you said Negro.
They have traditions that.
And I am saying now, who is this Falashas that was taken to Israel to validate the experience of the God of Israel?
Good question.
A group of people in Ethiopia for a number of years who have followed the Jewish traditions found in the Bible.
So it's more culturally rather than ethnically then?
No, how much years?
They would go back to the 4th century when Ethiopia became a Christian nation.
No, the Falashas was there before Christianity.
Yeah, but they were not practicing as
they were practicing Judaism. Christ wasn't existing that time. When the Falashas was in Ethiopia, the Christ never exists.
Well, I know about them.
Well, if you don't know about it, I can tell you about it. No,
I'm telling you,
I am saying to you that the Falashas was there before Christians because Jesus Christ was not born yet.
And where are their traditions documented, Muta?
The traditions
that they were keeping
in Ethiopia.
Which document?
The Ethiopian document.
Name me one document.
All right, I'm going to tell you about the Kebra Negas one. I'm going to tell you about
the 13th century.
The king, gosh, man.
Not the 5th.
Anyway, can't remember the book. I can't remember the book. You see, you have a more thing.
Give me an idea.
But I'm just saying to you, we could talk to one on one.
Yeah, man.
Are you aware of the Falashas?
Yeah, man.
Are you aware that the Falashas was there before Christianity? You know,
I'm not aware of that. No.
All right. Well, no. You see, true. I didn't done the research and I don't remember it. You know, it is up to you who write a book about Rasta and against Rasta to find out
Black History
what the Falashas there before.
We take our final break. Our most interesting program, historical claims being contested on all sides. This is Religious Hard Talk. Mutabaruka, Clinton, Chisholm. Debate issues having to do with black history, with Africa, and with Rastafari. Clinton, you question this view that the Ark of the Covenant is in Ethiopia.
No evidence.
Been able
to verify that.
Nobody has been able to.
Everybody who comes close to it backs off and says, well, of course we can't see it because the priest blocks the door and nobody's allowed.
Yeah, but that's not a prerequisite to Rasta, being a Rasta.
It's not
Rasta repeat that because of their connection with the Ethiopian history. It has nothing to do with your belief in Rasta if you accept the Ark of the Covenant.
Selassie, you show in the book, Clinton, was a Christian. He made reference to Christ, his worship of Christ. He encouraged people to worship Christ. Whereas the Rastafarians are doing the very opposite.
Right. So I pit His Majesty's speeches against the popular views in Rastafari today. For his speeches against the popular views in Rastafari today. For instance, when His Imperial Majesty opened the 1966 Berlin Congress on World Evangelism, this is how he opened the Congress. Quote, "The love shown in Christ by our God to mankind should constrain all of us who are followers and disciples of Christ to do all in our power to see to it that the message of salvation is carried to those of our fellows for whom Christ our Savior was sacrificed, but who have not had the benefit of hearing the good news. Christians, let us arise and labor to lead our brothers and sisters to our Savior, Jesus Christ, who only can give life in its fullest sense." Unquote. That's Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie at the World Congress on Evangelism.
Wait, let me hear another one more from Selassie. Where you Selassie, man?
No,
the words of
Carl
Selassie.
Philpott, there's a virgin named Carl Philpott who record a lot of these.
That's right.
As a 12 tribe, 12 tribes declare themselves Christians.
Yes. So a lot of statements where Selassie points to Christ.
Yes.
And yet Rastafarians have had this myth that he is the Christ.
Yeah, all right. So who must talk?
Well, you have moved beyond Rastafari, right?
No, we're not moved beyond Rastafari.
You moved beyond Rastafari.
Him say, I just want you finish talk, or I must.
No, well, I'm not. You can respond.
Quote,
I'm just saying, is this quote? Would you accept this quote as genuine?
Of course.
Taken from his writings.
All right. Not even no illusion.
So why you not follow him?
No, it's not. All right.
And deal with Jesus.
Well, me and you work with that already.
All right.
We said to you that Rastafari is not. You see, I can't put it this way. My father was a Roman Catholic. I don't have to be a Roman Catholic. And yet still, I listen to my father because there's things in my father's ideas and philosophy that can carry me through. Now, the idea of Rastafari did not come about seeking to find out what Haile Selassie believe in. It was an event that is what we're talking about, a response to colonialism and slavery. So the idea of the king, Emperor Haile Selassie, is what Rastafari is responding to.
So you're seeing Haile Selassie as a cultural clutch?
Yes, no, but I remember a reason for that already. So the culture,
religious.
Yeah, but I'm talking about now the development of a theology in the understanding of Haile Selassie based upon the liberty of Rastafari is what is defining Rastafari. You see, the Rastafari is defining himself not in a belief system of the leader of the faith, but in what they develop through the ideas in their liberty, in their cultural expression. But the cultural expression is what defines Rastafari mostly. But within the cultural expression, Rastafari is developing until because everything comes from culture. Even your religion, Judaism or whatsoever, Judaism is coming not as a religion to you, but it is as a culture, and out of that culture, the experience of the people define a spiritual understanding based upon who am I, where am I, what am I supposed to do. Rastafari is the same experience. We started out as a event, the cultural expression, and then in that cultural expression, the definition of black people finding themselves through the understanding in Haile Selassie, not in what Haile Selassie say, but in what Haile Selassie represents in the spiritual connection.
Yeah, but Muta, let me ask you something.
Yes.
So he might create him own God.
Let's take ourselves.
But every man create him own God. He create him own God. Then God knows what's created by man. If the man create God.
Philosophical, that's foolishness.
No, not foolishness. If there was no man, there wouldn't be no concept of God.
If there was no God, there wouldn't be no concept of man.
Yeah, then that makes sense. So which one?
If there was no God, there would no concept of man.
So how did you come to this understanding of God?
By reasoning and by God revealing himself to man.
No, two man.
But God revealed himself to man.
Or by what means?
By writing.
No man, that is your thinking. I am saying to you, every concept, every book that was written, including the Bible, was written by man. And it is based upon the perception of man, of who am I, where am I, and what is this thing all about. That is why I write the book. So I am not saying that your God don't exist. I am just saying to you, you cannot define as a definitive argument that when I say, if I create an experience based upon from my understanding and my environment, and I use that thing, and I use that thing to free and liberate my soul and my physical being. You cannot say that this thing is not real.
But Muta, keeping on track, you go back. Let's think 1930. All right, this black guy This event.
You keep saying a guy. It's like you're saying Negro.
No,
a guy is like a Negro man.
All right, sorry. Let me use a different term.
Yes.
This man.
1930. This man.
Yes.
This prestigious black man in Ethiopia ascends the throne of Ethiopia.
Yes.
As the new emperor.
Yes.
If that man in 1930 was not one called Haile Selassie, power of the Trinity, did not have a name Rastafari, did not claim to be part of the Solomonic
would he say him as God?
Would the Howell and his tribe, you think, accept him as a black man?
No, you know why? No, you know why? Because Howell was responding to the organization that he was in. When Marcus Garvey asked, where is the black man king? Where is the black man kingdom? And all we had was the king of England. So Howell responding to an event. When this African king was crowned, Howell is saying, wow, Marcus Garvey did really tell you, say, you know, this is a great thing. And as I talk about the philosophy and opinion, there is a topic in there about the image of God, where all people was looking on is white people, this white Jesus and things. So Leonard Howell is responding to the event by saying, aha,
there it is.
This is it now.
But you know, the aha moment came because Howell remember that Selassie is called King of Kings and Lord of Lords. And you
no.
The aha moment come because of all of that things, all of those things came together.
No. It's not because he was called King of Kings why Howell declare him. It's because he was crowned Emperor of Ethiopia, King of Ethiopia. It's not because he was King of Kings.
Can't be that plain and simple.
No, but can't be that plain and simple. It's after that. No, people want to declare now.
Trust the mythology.
To validate this event. We are now going to say no, he was the King of Kings. We know that every Ethiopian king is king of kings because the emperor is the king of all the kings in Ethiopia. So that is not an illusion that Rasta is living in. We are saying that you have king in Ethiopia and you have king of kings. The emperor is the king of kings.
Right.
So I am saying to you now that this title is not the prerequisite that was used to validate Haile Selassie. What was used to validate Haile Selassie is the event that took place in 1930. That there was no other event like that in the African continent. And Marcus Garvey, who was looking and said, where the black man king, where the black man kingdom, why we can't see God through our own spectacle.
So you're saying before Haile Selassie there was no black king in Africa?
Oh, what could I say that? I am saying to you. Why are you saying that?
So why was he drawn upon?
I am telling you that because Marcus Garvey was declaring, where is the black man king?
Up to that.
You're not going on the Marcus Garvey prophecy, which nobody can find.
No, we're not talking about. But
look to Africa for when a black.
No, we're not talking about the black king's crown.
Okay.
You have a quote. I said, Marcus Garvey asked the question: Where is the black man king? Where is the black man kingdom? You can't tell me so Marcus Garvey never know where going in Africa, so he never point to another king. No, because him don't say in the image of God, he mentioned Ethiopia. Him say why we can't see God through the spectacles of Ethiopia. No, I am saying to you, this is what give the spurring of Leonard Howell to say, wow, here is a black king. Because I remember say Haile Selassie and Rastafari and Marcus Garvey was in communication before he was the emperor of Ethiopia. Rastafari was doing works long before he was the emperor of Ethiopia.
Is the Rastafari predated 1930?
Then he was a man. Rastafari is the name of Haile Selassie before he become the emperor.
I thought you were talking movement in Jamaica.
No. We're not talking about the movement. We are talking about how the movement started to declare this man and not a next man. Because this was the only visible thing that was happening at 1930 that we can see.
It cannot be the simple ascension of a black man. But why you can't accept
simplicity?
Not the simple ascension of a black man.
But that was what spurred
it was the black man ascending the throne plus his titles.
No, that is what come after.
Came later.
It come after.
Hard to determine.
A lot of things come after, you know. Even the validation of Rastafari through biblical prophecies came after.
Yeah.
We're talking about the event that took place. Rastafari was responding, at least the people them in Jamaica, with its oil, was responding to, and I was responding, at least the people them in Jamaica, with its oil, was responding to an event. The event was the crowning of Rastafari, who became Emperor Haile Selassie. No, I am not one of those Rasta going to tell you Ras mean head creator. Ras is a title. Tafari mean one to be feared. That is the Ethiopian translation of the word. You agree with that?
I agree with that.
Yes.
I'm hearing a Rasta declare
so that does not negate. Does that?
Well, he has moved beyond Rasta.
No, don't say that, man. That does not negate the idea
of the event being important.
Of the event being important to the people them who was looking far away out of colonialism, imperialism.
What about Selassie as God, Muta? What about Selassie as God?
What about Selassie as God?
You accept Selassie as God?
No, we recognize that God is a limited word to describe the concept that we is now portraying. Because the word God...
But you don't believe in a supernatural God?
No. I don't know supernatural.
No supernatural God.
Natural.
You reject supernatural God.
That's why we say ital. Natural we are working with.
No supernatural God.
No, we not work with supernatural. Supernatural is belief.
Superstition.
Supernatural. The lack of information lead to superstition. And information.
How are you different from the atheist, Muta?
Superstition relates to the lack of information. So we say now inspiration without information lead to superstition, and that is what most religious people rely on,
including Rastas.
Including people, yes, of course, because a lot of Rastas try to make Rasta Haile Selassie into the Jesus in the Bible.
Yeah, Muta, how your view differ from the atheists? Give me this.
What is the view of the atheists?
That there's no God, that we...
No, but you say...
It's just purely matter. Matter is all.
We'll go through that already.
All right.
It's not that I'm not believing in God. I don't believe in the concept of God. That is perpetuated by the reverend here and you there sometimes. I am saying to you
and the Rastafarians.
It's not that I am not saying God. I don't want to use the word God because it's kind of can't throw up the whole thing when I'm talking to people who actually have a preconditioned idea about God. So if I tell them if I say Haile Selassie is this, and say then Haile Selassie create me, then Haile Selassie this, we don't want to mix it up. So we say, look, I know, make we leave out the word God. Tight. See? So it's a spirituality we are defining. It's not a religion. Rastafari is a way of life, even though it have a basic in deity.
All right. For Mutabaruka on this day in February 2009, What is the significance of His Imperial Majesty, dead or alive? What is the significance?
Fine.
Haile Selassie to me is the defining quality, divinity that I search for in myself.
Divinity? You're using that word?
In myself, of course. When I search for self, it is because of the understanding in Haile Selassie why I reach where I am.
It's an anthropological view.
That is really what it is. It is what I am viewing in Haile Selassie through my ideas.
Is the ideal
that is
man.
leading me to that.
Yes.
Yes.
But not
The
a spiritual
cultural icon.
It's a cultural icon, yes.
No, yeah.
Yeah, anthropological.
No, not a cultural icon. I'm talking about only.
These two will
Yes.
have to meet again, but this has been the match that you have wanted to see. And certainly, a lot of interesting things have come out on this Religious Hard Talk. This will be on YouTube soon, I know. A lot of people will be pirating this. This has been a Religious Hard Talk. I'll be back next week. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant evening.